Dear students, in this session we are starting the second module in our syllabus. The first part is transistor connection. In the last session we discussed about the basic characteristics or basic concepts of transistors. A transistor consists of three sections: emitter, base and collector. So the three LEDs of a transistor are emitter, base and collector. So when a transistor is connected in a circuit, we need four terminals, in which two terminals are needed for the input and two terminals are needed for the output. So overall we need four terminals. But we can remove or overcome this difficulty by making one of the terminal common to both input and output terminals. So this method, through this method we can avoid or we can overcome or we can avoid one terminal. So we need only three terminals. So in three ways we can do that. Here in this case you can see that base is made common. The common terminal in this case is base. Here base is common to both input and output. Similarly, we have three ways of connecting a transistor in a circuit. First is known as common base connection. Here the base is common to both input and output terminal. Second connection is common emitter connection. So in this connection, emitter is common to both input and output terminals. And third method of connecting transistor is making collector terminal common to both input and output. So these are the three methods of connecting a transistor in a circuit. So we have to study in detail about these three connections. So first we are talking about common base connection. So from the name itself it is clear that base is made common. So in the common base connection, the base is the common terminal. So here you can see that the input is applied between emitter and base. Similarly, output is taken from base and collector. So you just need to remember these alphabets: E, B, C in the case of common base, B, E, C in the case of common emitter, and B, C, E in the case of common collector. You need to remember only this alphabets in all three connections, and you have to take care of the thing that the calculations or expressions we deriving in one set or in one method, one connection is same as in all other connections. That means what all things we do in common base connection, just similarly or just in a similar way we are doing it in common emitter and common collector. So you have to note carefully what all things are doing in one type of connection. So first we are discussing common base connection. So in common base connection, input is applied between emitter and base and output is taken from base and collector. So here this is the common base configuration. This is the common base configuration. Here I am using the connection of NPN transistor. Here the arrow is outwards, so this is an NPN transistor. So in this circuit I have taken NPN transistor. So you can see that in common base configuration, what are the letters E, B, C? Base is common. So from this circuit it is clear that input current is the emitter current. So IE is called the emitter current or input current. And output, in the output there is collector. So current flowing through the collector is called collector current, IC. So IC is the output current. So IC is the output current. So from every configuration we can find out the input current and output current in this way. So in this case, base is common, emitter is the input circuit. So emitter current is flowing in the input, which is called the input current. Collector, in the collector we are getting output. So collector current is called output current. And here you can see that the input is always forward biased and output is always reverse biased. So that is another important thing. So the input is always forward biased and output is always reverse biased. Here you can see that this negative is connected to, here we can say that this is the N transistor. So here negative, here N. So this is negative, negative, negative. So this is forward biased. Similarly here this is N, that means negative, and this terminal is positive. So this is reverse biased. So in this way, these conditions are satisfied. In a transistor, we know that input circuit is always forward biased and output circuit is always reverse biased. So this is satisfied in this case. Now, so we can say that in common base configuration, input is applied between emitter and base, and output is taken from base and collector. So here base of the transistor is common. Base of the transistor is made common or common ground to both input and output, and hence the name common base. So in this configuration, first we are calculating the current amplification factor. In all configurations, we are studying or we are deriving the expression for current amplification factor. From the name itself, it is clear that it is an amplification factor of current. So how we can find out the amplification factor? Amplification factor is always obtained as output current by input current, or the ratio of output current to the input current is called current amplification factor. So in the case of common base configuration, current amplification factor is known as alpha, or it is denoted as alpha. So in our case, alpha is equal to, output current is known as IC. So alpha is equal to IC by input current is IE. So this is the current amplification factor. But you have to be careful that here we have taken only the steady current values or DC values. So this equation is valid only for DC values of current. We know that for DC values we have fixed value of current. But in the case of AC values, we have to see the changes, or AC currents. We have to consider AC currents. AC currents means changing currents or fluctuating currents. So instead of IC, we have to write delta IC. Delta IC by delta IE. So current amplification factor can be defined as the ratio of change in collector current, that is delta IC, to the change in emitter current IE. Also one condition is that at constant VCB. VCB is the collector base voltage. So alpha is defined as the ratio of change in collector current to the change in emitter current at constant base collector voltage or collector base voltage, VCB. So this equation is for AC values. If we are considering AC values of current, we have to use this equation. So alpha, equation of alpha is delta IC by delta IE at constant VCB. at constant VCB. Now we have to see the value of alpha. We know that alpha is equal to IC by IE. And we know the relation between IE and IC. IE is equal to IB plus IC. So we know that IE is always greater than IC. So what will happen? The denominator is always large. So alpha is always less than 1. So we can say that alpha is always less than unity. Alpha is always less than unity. Now, practically, the practical values of alpha is in the range 0.9 to 0.99. So, this is the practical values of alpha. Practical values of alpha is in the range 0.9 to 0.99. Now, you can see that from this equation, you can see that you can increase the value of alpha by increasing or by decreasing the value of IB. If IB is decreasing, you can see that if IB is decreasing, what will happen? IC will increase. So when IB is decreasing, IC will increase. Then alpha will increase. But not more than 1. So in this way, you can increase the value of alpha. So how you can decrease the value of IB? IB can be decreased by making the section of base very thin and lightly doped, so that it will not recombine with holes and the base current will decrease. If base current is decreasing, then collector current will increase, because more emitters, more charge carriers of electrons will flow towards the collector. Then IC will increase. If IC will increase, alpha will increase. So in this is one method of increasing the value of alpha. But take care, note that it should not, or it will not be more than 1. So this is the case of current amplification factor. Now next is the expression for, second thing is the expression for total collector current. Expression for collector current. So first we discussed about current amplification factor alpha. Now we are going to discuss about the expression for collector current. You can see that total collector current IC consists of 2 parts. And the first part is that it is the part of emitter current which reaches the collector terminal. That is, IC is equal to alpha IE. You can see from this equation that IC is equal to alpha IE. It is the part of emitter current which reaches the output terminal or collector terminal. Now what about the second part? Second part is the collector current obtained due to minority charge carriers. That is called leakage current. So you know that due to the motion of minority charge carriers move across the base collector junction during reverse bias condition, and we will get current in the output. This is known as leakage current, which is denoted as I leakage. So you can see that total collector current IC is the sum of these 2 parts, that is alpha IE plus I leakage. Alpha IE plus I leakage. So you have to find out what is I leakage or leakage current. Suppose think that in our NPN transistor, so this is our NPN transistor, suppose there is no emitter current. That means emitter current is open. Emitter circuit is open. That is IE is equal to 0. So even when the emitter current is 0, IC will flow. This collector base current is called ICBO. And this ICBO is responsible for the leakage current. So ICBO is known as, ICBO is called, ICBO is known as collector base current with emitter open. Collector base current with emitter open. Collector base current with emitter open. So this ICBO is known as the leakage current. So this equation can be rewritten as IC is equal to alpha IE plus ICBO. This is one equation of total collector current. So this is one expression for collector current. So we have the equation IC is equal to alpha IE plus ICBO. This is equation 1. Now we know the equation IE is equal to IB plus IC. That is, emitter current is the sum of base current and collector current. So substitute this in equation 1, we get IC is equal to alpha into IB plus IC plus ICBO. So taking the IC terms to one side, we get IC is equal to this equation alpha IB plus alpha IC plus ICBO. So you can take this to this side. So IC minus alpha IC is equal to alpha IB plus ICBO. So that is IC into 1 minus alpha is equal to alpha IB plus ICBO. So from that we get IC is equal to alpha by 1 minus alpha IB plus ICBO by 1 minus alpha. This is equation 2. And this equation is known as the expression for collector current. So equation 1 and equation 2 are equations to find out IC and IE. Equations of to find the total collector current. So from 1 and 2 it is clear that IC can be controlled by, from equation 1 it is clear that it can be controlled by IE, and from equation 2 it can be clear that it can be controlled by IB. So it can be controlled by either IE or IB. So IC can be controlled by either IE or IB. So using these two equations we can find out the expression for collector current. So these are the two expressions we find out or we used in the common base connection. So now we are going to discuss about problems. So the problems are very simple. By knowing these two equations, IC is equal to alpha is equal to IC by IE, and similarly using the equation to find the expression for collector current, we can simply do the problems. So let us discuss one problem. In a common base connection, in a CB connection, we have given the current amplification factor. Alpha is 0.9. Now, emitter current is given. I is equal to 1 milliampere. This is given. Find IB. This is the question. So, it is very clear. We know that alpha is equal to IC by IE. So, from this we get IC. IC is equal to alpha IE. Alpha is 0.9. So, 0.9 into 1 milliampere. So, that is 0.9 milliampere. Now, IB is equal to, we know that IE is equal to IB plus IC. So, IB is equal to IE minus IC. IE minus IC, that is equal to, IE is 1 milliampere. So, 1 minus 0.9 milliampere, that is 0.1 milliampere. If you need to convert this into ampere, this is 0.1 into 10 raised to minus 3 ampere. So, this is a simple problem. Now, let us discuss second problem. So, here in a common base connection, we have given IC. IC is equal to 0.95 milliampere. And IB is equal to 0.05 milliampere. We need to find alpha. So, what will? Alpha is equal to IC by IE. But we know that we don't know IE. So, IE is equal to IB plus IC. So, here IB is 0.05 plus IC is 0.95. Both are in milliamperes. So, we will get 1 milliampere. So, alpha is equal to IC is 0.95 milliampere divided by 1 milliampere. That is 0.95. There is no unit for alpha. And you can also see the value of alpha. 0.95, which is less than 1. So, we already said that alpha is always less than unity. Now, next question. Third question. In a common base connection, we have given IE. IE is equal to 1 milliampere. And also, it is given that if the emitter circuit is open, ICBO is equal to 50 microampere. We have to find total IC. We have to find total IC given that alpha is equal to 0.92. So, we have to use the equation. IC is equal to, here alpha is given, IE is given, ICBO is given. So, direct equation we can do. IC is equal to alpha IE plus ICBO. You can use both equations, but here this equation is more simpler than the other one. So, this is equal to, all things are given. So this is given as 0.92 into IE is given 1 milliampere plus I is 1 milliampere plus ICBO is given as 50 microampere. So, 50 microampere is 50 into 10 raised to minus 6 ampere. So, we have to convert this into ampere. So, this is 50 into 10 raised to minus 6. So, here 1 milliampere we have to convert. This is 0.92 into 10 raised to minus 3 plus 50 into 10 raised to minus 6. So, you can calculate this and we will get 0.97 milliampere. You can also use other equation and you can see the same answer. So, this is the third question. Now, fourth question. Fourth question, you have given a circuit. So, this is an NPN transistor. So, So this is an NPN transistor with input forward biased, and this is the output, and you have given the output resistance 2 kilo ohm and output voltage 2 volt. So this is given. Also alpha is given. Alpha is equal to 0.95 and you have to find IB. So in the problem it is given that voltage drop across 2 kilo ohm resistor is 2 volt. So that is given. So how we can find out? We have given the voltage drop across the output. So we know that in the output voltage drop, how we can find out the voltage drop in the output? Voltage drop V is equal to I into R. What is the current flowing in the output? It is the collector current. So IC into RC. IC into RC, that is the voltage drop. And it is given. It is equal to 2 volt. RC is also given. So we can find IC. IC is equal to 2 volt by RC. That is equal to 2 by 2 kilo ohm. That is, kilo is 10 raised to 3. So that is 10 raised to minus 3 ampere. That is equal to 1 milliampere. So IC is given. Alpha is known. So you can find IE. Alpha is equal to IC by IE. So IE is equal to IC by alpha, that is 1 by 0.95 milliampere. So that is 1.05 milliampere. So you get IC and IE. So you get IB. IB is equal to IE minus IC. That is 1.05 minus 1, that is 0.05 milliampere. So this is also a simple problem. Next we can find out. Next problem is some more difficult one. So fifth question. Here also we can consider a circuit. We are considering an NPN circuit, and here you will get an input resistance, and this is a common base connection. You can see an input resistance and output resistance in this circuit. Output resistance RC is equal to 1.2 kilo ohm. Kilo ohm. RE is equal to 1.5 kilo ohm. This is IE, this is IC, and this is IB. And this voltages are given. VE is equal to 8 volt and VCC is equal to 18 volt. So using this circuit, we have to find out IC and VCB. Assume that we have to assume the transistor to be of silicon. Assume the transistor to be of silicon. So here the problem is some more complicated. So you have to apply Kirchhoff's law to the emitter side loop first. So this is the first loop. So here apply Kirchhoff's law. What is Kirchhoff's law? The voltage source is equal to V is equal to summation over IR. So in this loop, voltage source is this one, V is equal to 8 volt. Here across RE there is a voltage drop, and across the emitter base junction also there is a voltage drop. Voltage across emitter and base is known as VBE. So voltage across emitter and base is VBE. Voltage drop across resistance is IE into RE. IE into RE. So what is the, applying Kirchhoff's law we get, applying KVL in the first loop we get VEE, that is the voltage source VE is equal to IERE plus VBE. So you have given VE is equal to 8 volt. In the case of silicon, VB value is 0.7 volt. So that should be should be a non-value, because for a transistor VB value is fixed. So VB is the base emitter voltage which is constant for silicon, and similarly there is a value for germanium. So you have to know this value by heart. VB is equal to 0.7 volt. In transistor biasing we will discuss in detail how you will get this value, or what is the importance of VB, etc. So now just you remember this value, VB is equal to 0.7 volt. So I is equal to IE into RE is given 1.5 kilo ohm, that is 1.5 into 10 raised to 3 plus 0.7. So calculating this, from this you get IE. You can calculate the value of IE. IE is equal to 4.86 milliampere. So this is the emitter current. So now here we are using another assumption. Here there is no value of IB is given. So we can say that IE is equal to IB plus IC. Also IB is very small, so we can neglect the value of IB. So we can say that IE is approximately equal to IC, which is 4.86 milliampere. If IB is given, you have to add this and you will have to find out this value of IC. Here if IB is not given, you can use this assumption, IE is approximately equal to IC. Now you have to find out the value of VCB. So for that you will have to take the second loop. So in the second loop apply KVL. Apply KVL in second loop. So what you will get, similarly as to this, the voltage across collector and base is called VCB. So this is the voltage across collector and base. So we can similarly say that VCC is equal to, what is the voltage source? VCC. Voltage across collector and base is VCB plus voltage drop across RC, that is known as ICRC plus ICRC. So here we know VCB is equal to, we have to find VCB as VCC minus ICRC. VCC is given 18 minus IC, we have find out 4.86 into 10 raised to minus 3 into RC is given 1.2 into 10 raised to 3. So by calculating this you will get 12.16 volt. So this is the value of VCB. So this problem is bit difficult. So you have to use Kirchhoff's current law in this case to find out the value of IC and VCB. So think about this problems, do the problems and do the problems in Mehta's text, and we can see in the next session. Thank you.